Hey guys, how are you? I hope this video is finding you happy, healthy, and safe. And I'm excited to be here doing this with you. Forgive if there's any sounds or any craziness going on. My cat is running around being a you-know-what. So fingers crossed we will make this through alive. But this is my update video. I've already tried to do this several times and it just ends up being like too long because I was gone from YouTube land for almost 2 years, and I promised to update on the reasons why, and also, the things that I learned and am going to be bringing to you within that time. And so it's a lot, and I don't want to be sitting here giving like a boohoo video or something that just goes on for an hour. So this is like take 200. Let's try this baby again. So the first I'll start with is why I was gone, and I'm just gonna give like a kind of brief rundown because essentially it was for health reasons. I may not look like it, but I am disabled. I have invisible disability, traumatic brain injury from living with Lyme disease for a very long time. And one of the reasons that I'm able to look so healthy and be here sharing with you guys is because of my mindfulness healing practices. They keep me going. They keep me as healthy as I can be, despite all that's kind of going on inside. On the outside, it all looks good. On the inside, it's like a 65-year-old woman with a cane and like, everything hurts. But I've been living with Lyme disease for a long time, and there's always major ups and downs with that. But I'd grown, stop it, sorry, the cat. Come here. I'd grown used to that and learned how to live with it, but about 2 years ago, I received a few new diagnoses that sent me a bit spinning mentally, as well as I was just in and out of the hospital quite a lot. And I physically was too sick to do much of anything. When you see my videos or when people see me out and about, generally those are my best times. So nobody sees what it's like when I'm sick. They only see the best version of me. But within those 2 years, there just was no, thank you, cat. There was no best version of me to show because I was just too sick to even do this sort of thing once a month or once every 2 months. So I got a few diagnoses, and I don't want to go like too far into it, but just because it's complicated and there's so many of them that it's just too much to go into at once. But generally, when someone does have a chronic illness, if their system is not strong or they have certain genetic things going on, it's like a set of dominoes that can lead to multiple diseases. So that's why when you hear about someone like myself or other people who have chronic illnesses having many different diagnoses, it's not like we want that or we're making that up. That's just kind of how the chips fall, because we have bodies that aren't able to protect themselves from other things, and genetically and just inside, it's like one thing knocks down the other and that goes wrong, and then one thing knocks down the other and that goes wrong, because our bodies are just not healthy and able to protect themselves like a regular person's. So the first thing that I found out was that I have an immunoglobulin deficiency. Essentially, I don't make like immunoglobulins, which essentially is like your immune system, which means I can't fight colds or illnesses or any sort of thing that's going around. If I catch it, and I'll catch everyone that comes my way, it's going to be way worse for me. It's genetic, so I've probably had it forever, and that's probably why I've had such a struggle fighting the Lyme disease and didn't know that I essentially had no immune system. And it's also not the best thing to have with this COVID going around, but so far I've been able to avoid it, and fingers crossed that I will continue to do so, because no immune system and COVID, it's not the best mix. But that was one thing, and that was actually the least of the things that went wrong. The next one is EDS, or Ehlers-Danlos system, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So essentially, again, I can't take too long to explain this, but it means that your body isn't making enough collagen, and literally everything in your body, or almost everything in your body aside from your bones, is using and made with collagen. Your skin, your fascia, your actual collagen, your joints, your brain, the sac of fluid surrounding your brain, your spinal cord, all of your organs, literally everything needs collagen. So when your body isn't producing enough of that, it's not a great thing. And so far, there's no cure for it, and it tends to get worse as one gets older. So that diagnosis was hard for me to hear, because with Lyme, even though it had been such a long battle for me, I always had hope of remission one day. But with EDS, hearing that there was no such hope to even go towards was hard. But I've gotten past the worst of that depression, and I like to still believe that there's hope. I believe that with practices and good diet and just looking towards the future and science and medicine and all sorts of things being discovered, that it's not a death sentence. It's not I'm gonna definitely end up in a wheelchair one day or anything like that, that this will be something that will be a challenge for me, but that hopefully I will overcome at some point in time. It affects my whole body. I have major spine problems. I have carpal tunnel. I have tennis elbow. I wear knee brace and ankle brace a lot. My ribs and my spine are constantly popping out of place. Most of the problems are because my muscles and my ligaments just don't have enough power, because they don't have enough collagen to hold things in place. So that's why my ribs always are popping out, and my spine, and that's why I have the issues with my ankle and my knee and my elbow and my wrist, because the joints are just rubbing against each other and causing a lot of inflammation and pain. And I basically live at the chiropractor, because they kind of put me back in place, and it helps me feel better and have less pain. And then the third diagnosis, and I would say the worst, even though EDS is pretty bad, is something called mast cell disease. This is also very complicated to explain, but it's essentially an allergy disease. If you took food allergies or chemical sensitivities, because it could be both, and you just it's so hard to explain. Essentially, we have all these cells in our body that generally are supposed to protect us if something comes in that shouldn't be there, viruses or whatever. All these mast cells in our body will release chemicals to attack that bad thing and fix us. But when you have MCAS, or mast cell activation syndrome, they have gone haywire for whatever reason, and so all over your body are these little cells that when you have some sort of food or some sort of interaction with a chemical that should be fine, they freak out. And for each person, the reaction can be different because those cells will release upwards of 200 different chemicals that it's almost like a mini cancer cell. When it releases those chemicals, when it's doing that, it's causing disease, inflammation, deterioration, hormones to go haywire, things to break down, all sorts of trouble from that one cell. And there's just thousands of them in your body. And ironically, the way I used to compare it was like little cancer cells, little tumors in reaction to this thing, but that was a really broad stroke, I thought, in just helping people to understand it. But one of the treatments for it, and this is when other treatments don't work and when it's really bad, is chemo. And I will actually be trying chemo in the coming month. And I'm not telling you guys this to be poor me. Instead, I am just telling you what has been going on with me and to show you that I can still keep things going no matter what. And part of that, a huge part of that, is my mindfulness practice and my spiritual practice and my healing modalities. They keep me way healthier, even despite all this, than I would be without them. They keep me going, they keep me alive, they keep me positive, they keep me happy, and they keep me here to help other people. And if you can see me with all these things inside that are going very, very wrong, so going to be starting chemo, ribs popping out of place, in and out of the hospital for 2 years, these genetic issues, in pain a lot of times, and yet I'm able to be this person who's still very proactive, who is taking on life not just for herself but for other people. Then these practices can work for you too, right? No matter what you're going through. And I've developed a very big toolbox of ways to help get through anything. And that's why I like to make these videos, and that's why I'm a hypnotherapist, and that's why I'm also learning these other healing modalities, because they've worked for me to keep me going, to keep me this person with a smile on my face who can talk to you about these things that essentially are pretty traumatic issues, and yet I'm telling you, not in tears, but with a smile on my face and hope in my heart, right? And I don't want any pity pleas. I don't want any pity comments or anything like that, because that's not why I'm sharing this with you. It's simply my truth. It's simply what kept me away for 2 years. And it's also what I had to go through to learn certain things. I don't necessarily think it was all meant to be, but when you get something really tough, even if it's not meant to be, you can find a way through to find a meaning out of it and make something out of it that will be good. And so you make it meant to be. Anyway, with the mast cell, to get back to some of the symptoms for me, one of the more serious symptoms was it was causing, when I would take medicines that were new to try and treat other stuff, it was causing major heart events, near heart attacks that were sending me to the ER. And those were extremely scary, among a myriad of other symptoms. It was exasperating, just all the things that were wrong for my EDS, all the things going wrong in my body, a lot of swelling issues, stomach issues, migraines, going really crazy, mood swings, all that sort of stuff. But the scariest by far was the heart stuff. And I had some gallbladder issues too, gallbladder attacks and stuff from the mast cell. So that's what I was dealing with the past 2 years, were those diagnoses and the symptoms of the mast cell that was really sending me just to the hospital a lot. And I was just too sick to be here with you, but I've worked through it. I'm stronger for it, and I'm bringing those tools to you guys. And I'm excited to be bringing that to you guys. So we've got the bad stuff out of the way, and that's fine. Oh, and I just wanted to add, when I do future videos and you hear my voice is like scratchy and husky sounding and maybe scratchier than it used to be, that's why. I don't have COVID. I'm not, dying from that, fingers crossed again. It's just the EDS, because I don't have the collagen in my vocal cords and stuff. Just a little bit of talking kind of shreds the voice, but it doesn't really hurt. It just makes me sound like I'm a smoker. So that's why I sound like this. But anyway, on to the better things. So in the past 2 years, when I was just stuck at home and looking for more coping tools and more things to raise me up and bring me joy, I started expanding my belief system, for one, and my education in the healing modalities. When I first started hypnotherapy, I considered myself purely clinical. I came to it from just a scientific point of view. I am not ashamed to admit that I thought of people who were more woo-woo and like super into like past life regression and like energy healing and super yoga all the time. I thought of them as kind of like granola crunching hippies. Sorry. And I didn't really believe that stuff worked. But because I was a hypnotherapist, I did want to at least try meditation, learn the other side of that, because meditation and hypnosis are just two sides of the same coin. And within learning that world and trying those things, it really opened my mind. I had some experiences that I just couldn't deny were powerful and were real. And because I went in so cynical, guys, and I wasn't looking for those, I wasn't expecting those, to have then those moments of, for example, the first time I meditated using a crystal, having certain moments like that where they just kind of like, I had some really intense moments, and I went in just thinking it was like bullcrap. That to me was like, wow, because I wasn't the sort of person who was like, oh, I hope it works, and just like tricking myself into it. I was super like cynical and didn't believe it. And then that just started, like one moment within those worlds that opened my eyes was like a baby step to the next. And there are still things that are definitely a little extreme for me, or not for me, or that I'm like, maybe, because I never think anything is, well, I'll correct that. I never think most things are empirically like true or not true. When it comes to like belief systems, I believe what I believe, but maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. I think it's egotistical to believe you just know when everybody else who has different beliefs must be idiots. That's a little egotistical, but that said, it just really made me open my eyes and believe things that I hadn't before. And I have found a lot of healing in these practices. And I don't think I view it. Some other people might view it as woo-woo or not scientifically based, but there is a lot of science behind energy healing, behind these sort of things. It's just not come to Western healing yet. But the Eastern healing modalities, there's been a lot of studies in those countries that is very impactful, that has the science, that has the proof that these things make a difference for people, as well as just the fact that when you think of our bodies down to our cellular structure, there are cells that their job is You know, they're like the battery of the cell. They have the energy, right? So even at our cells, we have energy. We have proof that we have an energy field, that the earth has an energy field, that there's a magnetic field, which is a different kind of energy. So if all of these things within and without us have energy, it makes sense that we can use that to heal as well, right? You are feeling tired one day, you say, I have no energy. You are next to someone who is a super bummer, you say, I don't like their energy, they're bringing me down. You hang out with someone who's amazing and you say, like, I love their vibes, they make me feel better. So it's clear also that our energy interactions do affect each other, that our fields do affect each other. So again, it makes sense that if something's really wrong with someone, either mentally, spiritually, or physically, that energy healing should be a part of the puzzle if things just aren't getting fixed other more typical ways. This isn't to say that Western medicine is wrong, because I believe Western medicine is a very effective tool, but there are many cases where it's just not working, or it's not working well enough. And I think that's when we just need to look at the missing puzzle piece, which is spiritual and energetic healing. So when I talk about how I've learned these things, there's many different ones, and I could go on with these subjects forever, but currently I am getting certified in Reiki, which is specifically an energy healing, working with the earth's energies and someone's own energy field to fix a sort of problem that's going on. Similar to hypnosis is working with someone's subconscious to fix an emotional or even slightly physical problem that's going on. But the two things combined are very exciting to think about. Something that I've been working on for a long time and will be bringing out to you guys at some point is a hypnosis chakra program. Our chakras are our energy centers, and they control different things. For example, our heart and our love, and that's one chakra. Our lungs and how we breathe and take in the world is another one. Our throat and our voice and how we communicate is another one. And utilizing that, because if one chakra is off, it throws everything off, and there's certain things like a traumatic event in your life or something that can happen to completely shut down a chakra, and that can affect your health and your mental health and your whole being. And I found that very exciting idea to look into healing wise, and I'm working on a major hypnosis chakra program that I think is gonna be like so good and help so many people. And then as well, I'm learning about mudras, which I will be sharing with you guys in future videos, which is simply hand positions. They're many forms of yoga. Instead of doing all yoga poses and everything, you do certain hand positions, and they control your energy flow, almost like acupuncture. Acupuncture is meant to change certain energy lines, to change your health, or certain aspects in your being to bring you well-being and health. Mudras, which are just very, very simple hand positions, that's an example, do the same effect without you needing to get needles and without you needing to do this whole yoga routine on the floor. So if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of time or isn't very well and can't do all these things, a mudra is a very simple, easy, effective use of your time in bringing about some really good health changes and fixing some energetic things that are going on. So, and there's so much more. I've been working with crystals, and I love utilizing crystals in hypnosis and meditation. Certain crystals have been very, very powerful for me in meditation, and I'm exploring just all sorts of different powerful ways to heal and learn and grow spiritually that have been empowering for me, and which I am so excited to bring with you guys. So I hope I didn't go on too long this time. I tried to keep it short, even though it's still gone on over 24 minutes. But if you made it through, congratulations. Thanks for listening to me, App. And that's my update. You can ask questions about this, or if you're into any of those things, you can share. I would love to hear it. And look forward to seeing you guys again. Please subscribe for more videos and share if you would like. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.